pretty so far, though. You want to show the camera what we got so far?
Okay, let's see. Don't judge.
This isn't the finished product, but these trees are speaking. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And this purple blue blend. Mm-hmm. We going somewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Welcome back to Art's Way Out, my art channel, and we are back with Miesha.
Yes.
And we are going to do the art portion of the interview. And today's activity, we are going to be reading one of her poems, and we're going to make a visual out of it. So you are going to be painting, correct? And I'm going to be just drawing whatever I feel, whatever I see after she reads. So what poem have you chosen for us?
I've chosen Liberation, and I can read it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
Read it. I imagine when we rest, trees have conversations and share stories about living a stationary life. I also imagine the altercations amongst birds and bees as they protect their havens and await the day they can fly in leisure. I, too, await a day of my own.
Obviously, I'm thinking of green because we're talking about trees.
I love trees. Yes. I'm like the biggest nature person.
You're definitely outdoorsy person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Respect.
In fact, there's a poem in there about being, I think it's called Natural or something like that. Just about how much I love growing up in Georgia. Ooh, I used to always run barefoot and climb trees and all that type of stuff. So I just love anything nature.
I grew up in a very rural area, and I loved just being out in nature. I didn't like being far from like Walmart and malls and stuff, but I did love just the quietness.
Yeah,
that comes from it.
For sure.
I'm gonna look. I don't know if this is cheating, but I'm going to look at it as I
do what you get to do. I feel like I haven't painted in like years.
Did you do a lot of arts and craftsy stuff as you were a child?
Actually, in middle school, I was a part of the art club. Okay. And so I definitely always thought I was going to be like, a big artist. But I mean, that didn't happen, of course.
I mean, in a different way. In
a different way, right? And so like in the 8th grade, I painted this piece, right? And it was submitted into this, I don't know what you call it, a gallery or a competition or something like that.
Is it kind of like Art Awards? Yeah,
it was something like that. It was in Atlanta. I lived in Augusta. And so me and my family, we traveled there to see my piece hung up. Aww. And
wow.
But yeah, and then in high school, I was a part of the Arts Honor Society. But that's where it ended.
You stopped painting then. Was there any particular reason, or you just kind of just like?
I don't know. I just kind of, honestly, around that time from middle school up until high school, I was going through so much. I just didn't. I didn't get back into it, and so now I'm not on your level. Let me stop.
Girl.
But yeah, I still like it. It's therapeutic.
It really is.
But so thanks for having me.
Yeah. And your art resurfaced in another way.
Yeah, for sure.
I think what sticks is what matters, because, we all talented in different ways.
For sure.
So, not a big animal person.
No.
Do you consider yourself a dog person or a cat person?
I'm a cat person.
Thank you. Okay. I am also a cat person.
Come on. Every time I say that, people are like, you like cats? Yes.
People will give me the
that's my
dirtiest. Right. The dirtiest looks. Right. Dogs are cool. Dogs, I respect it. It's just over there.
That way.
I'm going to be over here. You can be over there. I think since I am so excited, I'm very much an excited person, I feel like a dog is just overload. Too much. We both excited. Just too much.
We gotta balance.
Yes, we gotta balance it. So for me, I'm just like, let my cat just chill right there.
Okay.
Not bothering anybody. Can cuddle when he wants to,
Yes.
But that's just me. No,
I feel that.
No, nothing against dog people out there. Respect you. I get it.
But love what you love.
If you like it, I love it.
Come on. Now, see, if it's like a puppy that can, get themselves together, I don't know how to describe it, but some dogs, they just do too much.
Three much. Say it again.
3 much. And I'm already, especially the large ones. No, thank you.
And I'm already small, so it's like, bro.
It's a lot.
You're being a lot in the room right now.
Come on.
So I definitely understand that.
And cats mind their business.
They do.
Okay?
And they know how to act. When guests come over, they just, okay, I'm going to be here like I usually am.
The dogs, they got to make it known.
Right. They love people. I love people. I get it.
Yeah,
you just don't gotta run up to everybody. Growing up in the country, I saw a lot of animals. I was like, we had cows near where I live. We had
country. Huh?
Yes.
I thought you meant like south type of thing. But no, you saw.
No. There was one time a horse got out of their place that it was the neighbor's horse, and it came to the backyard, and I was like, oh wow, horses are very big in real life, you guys.
Oh my goodness.
Horses on TV.
Like, FYI.
Right. I'm like, wow, so these things are very large in real life.
Oh, man.
But yeah, the horse escaped, and then the owner came to our backyard and was like, hey, sorry about that. He got out. I was like,
not my bad.
Right. I was like, all right, I'm going to just stay in the playhouse and y'all can handle that.
Man.
But that's, country.
Country. I low-key feel like I would have loved that, though. It sounds like it was, aside from, horses running rampant, freely, just, like my grandma or my grandmother, she lives in the country, okay?
Yeah.
And so it's so country that, when it's night, there's barely any lights out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You in the dark. No street lights.
No street lights.
But you can see the stars.
And that's the thing. You can see the stars. It's quiet. You can hear everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love.
Just that, that relates to, being silent and not speaking, because there's power in that.
There's power in your silence. Ooh, yes. I wish I knew that when I was younger.
There's power in not speaking. But yeah, that's beautiful. And you don't, especially being in the city right now, you don't hear that.
Nope.
I don't hear like silence that you feel and that you hear in the country. You can't get that anywhere else unless you're really isolated. Because it's like there's always noise in the city. Always noise. Always something. Which isn't a bad thing, but it's just like
it can become too much. That's why I love going when I do get the chance to, and it's not often. I like going to, it's called Bethel. Bethel, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
It's the 252 area.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the area. I feel like I'm about to mix some colors, Eileen.
Yeah, go crazy.
Don't judge now.
This is pretty so far, though. You want to show the camera what we got so far?
Okay, let's see. Don't judge.
This isn't the finished product, but these trees are speaking. Okay.
And this purple blue blend. We going somewhere. Now, Eileen, when did you start painting?
Don't put me on the spot.
I know, I want to know, when did you start painting?
Yeah, so I've always been drawing, even when I was younger. And funny thing is, I started drawing because I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Ooh, yes. I didn't know that.
Yes, I wanted to, Brass Forever Diamonds, like, True Jackson BP.
Oh, that was my show.
That was my show.
Goodness.
So anytime I would see that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to be a fashion designer so bad. So I would draw all the time. I would draw clothes, and I would draw. Me and my sister used to draw like the store that we were gonna have called L&A Designs, because my sister's name is Leia. Leia, if you're watching this, hey. But yeah, so it was gonna be called L&A Designs. And it was cute. It was a cute little idea. So
that's cute.
Yeah, that's why we started drawing. And I would draw clothes, and I would go to school and be like, "Look at all the clothes that I drew. We're gonna start a little fashion pop." But yeah,
look what I did.
So I started drawing for that reason, and then it kind of just got into just drawing whatever I like. And similar to you, I got into a Scholastic Art Awards for one of my pointillisms, and it was a rose that I made. And I also was just doing really well in the art class in general. That's when I first started doing my magazine pieces. And if you've seen like some of my magazine art, that's probably the most fun medium. I'm not going to say favorite because it's hard to pick a favorite, but like it's the funnest medium that I get to work with is the magazine materials. So that's when I started kind of doing it seriously. And that's when I made my signature actually in middle school. I was in career, home ec career, like...
Career in like technical
yeah, and we was finished the assignment and I was on the board and I was like, if I'm a famous artist one day, this is going to be my signature. And I was just playing around and I made my signature. And yeah, that's when I started doing art. Then I kind of fell off for a year just because I had a lot of stuff going on in life. Like you said, it's just like, I don't know, you kind of get away from it, but something always calls you back. So I ended up getting serious in high school. So I was 15, 16, sophomore year. And then I started my art account, Art's Way Out. And now we're here doing interviews.
Oh, wow, Alan. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You said something is going to always call you back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's how you know that's your passion.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even though you stop, there's always something that's like, I got to go. I got to start again.
Yes. So. And you said 15, 16, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy because that's when I wrote my first spoken word piece.
Wow.
And that's when I first got serious with writing. And it wasn't until I was a freshman at UNCG, go Spartans, that I performed my first spoken word piece.
Wow.
And that's, another part that just birthed a whole
new
everything. There wasn't a time I wasn't performing on campus.
Wow, I wish I could have seen you.
Back in 2014, 2015, 2016. I was there for too long. But, you know what I'm saying?
That's okay.
But yeah.
Wow.
16.
I don't know what happens at 15, 16 for us, but it was just like, I was going through so much and I stopped for so long that I was like, there's no point for me to, why not? Even though, I don't know, I think I stopped for a while because I was just like, I don't think that I'm that good. And I think all artists struggle with that, or just comparing yourself to a lot of other artists.
Absolutely.
But it's like, what do I have to lose?
Literally.
What do I have to lose? So I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to keep going. And when I picked it up that time, I never stopped. Like, it was I made a promise to myself, because I would start pieces and not finish it, right? And then, is this a reflection of you?
That's a reflection.
Yes.
That's real.
I would start pieces and I was like, nope, this isn't good enough, so I'm not going to finish it. So when I picked up art again, I made a promise and a deal to myself. If I start a piece, I got to finish it no matter if I like it or not. And then I'm still making art to this day.
That's amazing. That goes into like taking a chance on yourself.
Yes.
Like, for sure.
What was that for you?
I can't count how many like unfinished pieces that I've had. Even when I first started writing like spoken word pieces, because for me they're different than what Chameleon presents. However, crazy enough, some of those pieces are like spoken word pieces. Does it make sense? But some of them are intended to just be read, in silence. That's kind of how I see it. But a lot of those unfinished pieces were like a reflection of me feeling as if, they weren't good enough. I was already studying some great poets such as like Rudy Francisco, Genetics, Ezekiel Azanwu. All of those poets, spoken word poets, they really inspired me. And their wordplay was so crazy. Their delivery, all of that, it was so spot on. But I didn't realize, or I didn't remind myself that, they had been doing that for a long time, too. Yeah. And I'm just getting started. But I did a lot of comparing myself to the point where if I was, writing something, if I was, trying to create a new poem to perform, I'm like, dang, I didn't use enough punchlines. I didn't use enough metaphors.
It can be debilitating. Like, it puts you in a place where it's like, and I was talking to the last interview I did with Leroy. We were just talking about comparing yourself, and it just puts you in a place where you can't ever live up to the standard that you're comparing yourself to because you're not them,
Yes.
So I feel that.
Oh man, you're not them. Like we all have, and we know this. We all have a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And like, I was talking to myself today. I talk to myself a lot.
Same.
Okay? And I was just reflecting on God and how great he has been and how he has always been and always will be, right?
Yes.
And I was thinking of how, we're all so different. Mind you, I'm on the highway going like 60, 70. You know what I'm saying? I'm in deep thought, just thinking about God and, how there are orchestras. And I was thinking of God as, let me rewind, okay? Let me backtrack. We know that God orchestrates things in our life, right? Yes. But I was, I started thinking about orchestras. I started thinking about, instruments and how there are so many different instruments within an orchestra.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, music people. But,
yes, there is.
But, I played the violin, for a few years.
Oh, wow. That's interesting fact.
6 years I played it.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't ask me to play it now.
Yes.
But, yes, I was envisioning God as being, the conductor. And, we're the orchestra. There's different, instruments. You got the, maybe like a violin here, a tuba here and there, or you might throw a flute in there somewhere, They are all part of, a musical group, but they're all different. They all have a specific purpose.
Yes.
If this flute is over here, tweedledeating and all that type of stuff, let them do that.
Yeah.
And then you have, the violins over here, playing it up. There's different
sounds, different talents.
But at the end of the day, we are all, a part of a bigger picture, and we all have our own purpose. Some of us are going to, stand out more than others, but that's okay because ultimately we are being, conducted by someone much bigger than us.
Yeah, and to make something beautiful.
Sometimes
you don't even realize how God is using you in other people's lives. And it just turns out just beautiful. And it's like, that's not something I could plan. That is not is out of my control.
Out of my control.
Just even this situation, just meeting you and the way that we met and how similar our stories are. Because like we talked, but we didn't talk like in a very personal level.
Right.
But even just you reading Chameleon and just having this conversation, it's like, wow, like we have so many similarities, and it's like, wow.
So many. Didn't even know it.
You never know.
You
got to
talk artists,
right? In different ways.
Just like that orchestra.
And it complements. It all complements each other.
All complements.
Beautiful.
This is awesome. I love this.
Me too.
Yeah.
Talk about it. That's facts. That is literally me. I be just zoned out. I could be doing anything. It's just like, God is so good.
He's so good.
He is so good all the time.
You know what he did today? I'm talking to myself. Saying it.
Right. Woke me up this morning. Thank you, Jesus.
Sometimes it takes those moments, though. Like,
count it joy.
Count it all joy. I was just reading that scripture today, too.
Really?
Yes.
Look at that. See?
Oh.
Divinely orchestrated.
Beyond us.
It's beyond us. And it's like, wow, somebody found healing from this. I didn't even mean for them to take it that way, but they got something from it.
Right.
And that's the beautiful part.
That's always so reassuring. Even if I feel like, I didn't, create something, amazing or whatever, if I'm speaking my truth in it, like I said, you just never know who it's for. There have been plenty of moments where I get off the stage and someone stops me and they say, you have no idea, what that poem just did for me. And I'm just like, oh, really? Like, I never know how to respond to that because I was literally just speaking on my own experience. But that's always so reassuring. But honestly, I never picture myself publishing a book, because I started off, I, wrote here and there as an elementary school kid. But I started off, doing spoken word. So if you were to, listen to somebody performing spoken word and write down everything that they were saying, a lot of stuff is not going to sound, it's not going to translate well on paper. And so I was fearful that, the poems that I'm so used to creating, that they're not going to transform
and translate to the audience.
Right. But I had to get out of that fear because, I don't know, poetry is poetry. I mean, if someone gets it, they get it. If they don't, I would love to expand, to explain, but at the end of the day.
And sometimes it's just not for them, and that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's like maybe you just didn't get anything from it, and that's all right. And it's interesting because sometimes I make a piece and it's like, wow, this is amazing. I love it. And can't wait to share. And it's like, it doesn't get the reaction that I'm expecting. And sometimes I take that as like a hit. And it's like, it's not always a negative thing. But it's also, maybe that just spoke to me and that's going to speak to somebody else in a different way. But it's also interesting because it's like some pieces where I'm just like, yeah, this is fun. This is cool to make. a lot of people are like, wow, this is so amazing. And it's like the opposite reaction. So it's like, I wonder what that's about.
I wonder.
Yeah. But yeah, just like the disconnectedness that I was talking about earlier. It's like, I wonder if, and since it's visual art is kind of different, just because it's like they're not reading me, they're kind of just seeing what I see. And what I see is different from, everybody else's sees. So it's like,
Do you feel like at times it's hard to, visual artists, you're painting, you're creating.
I think it's harder for other people. It's harder to translate. I will say that. It's kind of hard to put into words. I'm trying to put it into words, but it's like, I feel like you can't see me in a way.
That was my question.
I feel like I can't be seen sometimes because it's like, wow, I'm making all this and this means so much to me, but that's not something that I can say. That's only something I can show.
Right.
So.
Wow. Wow. I can imagine how that is, being an artist, creating so many pieces that you're like, ooh, this is what I'm trying to communicate, to y'all. That you're getting something totally different or you don't get it at all. That would definitely make me feel some type of way.
Yeah, because I'm like, do you even really see me? But also, I also think it's interesting because a lot of artists don't do this. Like, they don't give an interpretation of their work. They're just like, which is fine. I mean, it's up to the artist. They're just like, I want the audience to receive whatever they receive from it. No explanation. I like to explain my work. I'm a talker. So and you've probably seen sometimes I will write like a whole like paragraph caption about a piece. And then people are like, I can totally see what you mean now. And I actually had somebody reach out and was like, I saw this post that you did and I can really connect to you as a person, as an artist, and that's why I wanted you to draw my tattoo. And I was very honored because it's like you wanted me to draw your tattoo, not to just have something pretty, but because I can relate to you in a way.
Yeah. That's big.
It was very cool. Very cool.
Oh man, a tattoo. That's permanent.
Yeah, that's you. Because it was like, this is something serious. Like,
right. That's amazing that they were able to, you just never know.
You never know how your art and, what you're doing speaks to people.
For sure.
But yeah, that's why I like explaining my work. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But, yeah.
Explaining your work. Often, battle with that. I mean, of course, I didn't mind, for the interview and all that good stuff, or if anyone who wants to know where my mind was when I was writing something, I definitely don't mind explaining that. But sometimes I'm just curious, what other people got from my piece, my poems, because sometimes the words that I put together, I love metaphors and I love personification. Like I like writing about, I can make, this thing of paint talk or something like that in my poem. I can say something like, the legs of the chair holds the weight of, my fears or something like that. And in your mind, how can a chair hold the weight of your fears? Or how can a chair, have feelings or something like that? But I just love that, I mean, that's
and it brings it to life.
It brings things to life.
It makes you look, and even in women, it's just like honey and like these objects or these things they relate to me.
Yes.
It's weird. I can't put words on it, but
we are honey and lavender. What do you mean by that? And it gets you to think. Like what is the consistency of honey? What is so significant about lavender? Lavender is, relaxing.
And you
a
just
graceful
visualize
color. Is this lavender right here? Kind of a lavender color. You know what I'm saying? Like it just evokes certain emotions inside of you.
And I'm like, yes, absolutely. I am lavender.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely.
I'm lavender everybody. But,
For sure.
I really like that.
Thank you.
I didn't know that was intentional, using like personifications and metaphors.
I love that.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And actually, it's I kind of did that in the poem that we're painting to, in a sense.
Yep,
I said,
with the trees.
Yes. That's
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, I see it now. And I'm making my trees speak. There's a lot going on.
Come
Very dynamic. Very dynamic.
I love it. What I got going on? I'm almost done, though. I don't know. What you got going on? Okay.
I did a lot. Yes, very dynamic.
Well, I'll wait to show it. Then.
Okay. We'll do a reveal.
We'll do a reveal at the end.
Like, as a kid, when you think that things are just, you know, alive, like in psychology, I was a psychology major once upon a time. So I probably say that in every video. But
I say that all the time too.
I was a psychology major once upon a time, and in one of the stages of what is it, clinical development? Don't quiz me on this. It's like the sensory motor stage, or like the stages of the stages of. Wait, are you talking about? I want to say that it's cognitive development.
Cognitive, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I took cognitive psychology.
Yeah. I took cognitive psych too. But in one of the stages of development, when a child gets to like 2 or 3, they think a lot of things are alive, or they apply real human characteristics to like a pillow. Like, let's say I like punch this pillow. A baby would be like, why would you do that? It's hurting, you know? So it's like that also reminds me of this.
Gotcha.
Like when you're a kid and you're like, the trees are speaking. They have feelings.
Yes. That's what I like to think about. I really do like think about that sometimes. My mom
trees see a lot, y'all.
Look.
They know
a lot of people's business out here.
I feel like there was a book that I read, or like a short story, and it was like if trees could talk. Or if trees could, you know, it was a conversation between 2 trees, like a forest together, just talking about the business of other people. And it's so funny. It's like, wow. So that's Billy came looking for his boo, but you know, she was not trying to look for him.
At all.
But it's trees like, wow, trees could see everything.
Like,
they be seeing stuff, I'm sure. And for you, when is a piece finished?
Ooh.
Or is it ever?
Honestly, when is a piece finished?
Like, when do you know when to stop writing and put the pen down?
That's a tough question because oftentimes, like, I have a lot of unfinished pieces for 2 reasons. I know we talked about that, but for 2 reasons. One, a lot of my pieces were unfinished because I didn't feel as if, you know, I was good enough at one point. But the second reason is because sometimes whenever I start writing about something and I'm trying to, you know, put into words how I'm feeling, or, you know, a thought that came to mind, but the words just won't form, or, you know, it just doesn't, you know, feel right at that particular moment. And so in that moment, I have to make a decision. Am I going to, you know, continue to try to push through the blockage, or am I going to put the pencil down?
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I put the pencil down. I put my phone down. Whatever I'm writing on, I put it down, because I'm really big on being, you know, authentic, and I don't ever want to, you know, force any creativity.
Yeah.
So for that, I have a lot of unfinished pieces. But when it comes to me trying to figure out when to stop, I think whenever I've reached a point where I feel as if, let's say when I feel lighter, because anytime that I'm writing because I'm trying to uproot something. I'm trying to, you know, get whatever I'm feeling out. So whenever I begin to like physically feel a sense of, you know, ease, I'm like, okay, maybe I can try to, you know, wrap this up. What am I trying to say in this poem, you know? And so once I feel as if I said what I had to say, even if it doesn't have, you know, as many metaphors or whatever as I want in there, I say, okay, you said what you had to say, Mai. So put it down. This isn't the last poem that you're going to write.
Right.
So, you know, just let it be, you know? Because some poems I've performed or I've written and they're still unfinished.
Right.
A lot of poems in there are unfinished because I can continue for days, but yeah.
Wow. So do you think that is how you get through like writer's block and stuff like that? It's just kind of waiting until you're in a place where you can write again?
That's what works for me, you know, and that may not work for some people. Some people may feel like, you know, I got to get through this. Because some people have, you know, strategies to get through that.
Yeah.
I personally don't at this particular time.
Yeah.
There's moments where I go outside. I change my scenery to try to get through writer's block. But ultimately, I don't ever want to force it.
Forced creativity can be frustrating.
For sure.
Yeah, I've been in a place where it's like, I don't want to make any art right now. But I think the best thing for me is just drawing without an intent. And I talked about this in the previous video, but just drawing without having an idea of what you're making. So I don't put any pressure on myself for it to look a certain way. I just draw to draw.
That's real.
And that's literally what this is. It's just drawing to draw. I didn't have, a set expectation. I have the words, and it's just like whatever comes out of it.
Right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Big reveal. Wow. I like how your tree is very much kind of blending into it.
You see
like,
the tree?
It's subtle. Yes.
Okay.
You see it, but it's like subtle. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is you see the birds? I try to put,
Yes,
I try
ma'am.
to draw it.
Yes.
Let's see.
This is the tree that is speaking, yes.
I
And
love
it's
it.
like a lot of stuff is coming out of it. And at the end of it, you're talking about, having a new day. And it's like, this day, it kind of made a day of its own. Like,
Literally.
you got the little
That's what I want.
happy little sun smiling down on the tree. And the tree, it looks like it's just having a whole party in the forest.
And everything else around it.
Yes.
And I like this. I don't know what you created, but that looks really cool.
Yeah, they kind of remind me, the stuff that falls out of trees? I forgot what they're called.
The straws?
Yeah.
The
The dry little
dry stuff,
twig
yeah.
things. Yes, that's what that looks like to me.
Yes.
Okay. This is Liberation.
Yes.
This is the visual. We have the artist here. Thank you, Miesha.
Thank you for having me.
Having this cool little art-related
so cool.
activity. I love doing these. All right, and we will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.